Only through one half of the day, November 4th has started off at a furious pace. On the heels of a mature buck wandering by his stand, back in eastern Iowa, Mike Reed is making a midday adjustment.
We have made the move. I decided to come back where we were last night. Obviously, we saw Fitz here last night. We brought the decoy in. I'm not a huge decoy guy just because there's so many does out here and it messes with the does if they start blowing and making a ruckus. But I think it'll be fun and it's worth trying because twice we saw him and I did some calling and he looked and then didn't come in. So hopefully if there's a deer stand there, he'd walk over. Unfortunately, we just put Josie, right, Rye? This is Rye's.
Wales.
This is Rye's decoy. Together, and there's no antlers, so we're either going with a very masculine appearing doe or a very short-tined, large-bodied spike. Well, we're all set up. I decided to put the decoy where it works a little bit both ways. I have it facing us like you would a buck decoy, where the buck would come around and approach him head on. I should be able to get a shot on the approach. It's certainly pretty close to us here. I was gonna put it just outside the plot screen or the edge of the food plot, but I have a branch here that I can't shoot, so I got him just a little bit farther out. Also, if he's viewed as a doe, then they can just approach him from the rear and get in bow range that way. Hopefully Fitzmagic shows up. Button buck.
With the enjoyable start to his hunt, Mike settles in over watching the river bottom in front of him. That same evening, 145 miles to the northeast, longtime team member Jeff Deets is also hunting. Coming off of a great 2022 season that saw him tag 2 bucks, so far the fall of 23 has been anything but slow. With multiple giants on camera, close encounters have been plentiful, but so far no arrows have been released. Hoping to see that luck change, Jeff sneaks into a historically productive redneck blind stationed in the heart of the farm.
He's going right at her. Yeah. That's a big dang doe. She go. Well, welcome back to Midwest Whitetail. Gonna have to be a little bit quiet here. It's November 4th, afternoon hunt in here in what I call the long field blind, and got a couple deer out here right now already. I mean, as soon as we got in, it wasn't 5 minutes, and had a little smaller buck pop into the plot, and now we got a button buck over here behind us. Just kind of a what I'd call like a transition area, but also have a CRP corner. Not crazy excited about the wind right now. It's supposed to be like 5 mile an hour out of the northwest. My experience, a lot of times if it gets real light wind, it starts swirling a little bit, but that's part of the reason we ended up coming into the Redneck tonight too, just to maybe help contain our scent a bit. We'll see what happens. We'll check in again with you here soon. Nice young deer. Small buck. Here's back. Yep. He's at like 35 yards. Just turning around, going the other way. He turns and goes back to his doe. I'll get this window open. Get her shut. Make sure it's latched. Here he comes. Shot, baby. Yes. Yes. He's going down. He's going down. He's going down. He's going down. I'm watching him go into the timber. Oh, yes. I can't stop shaking. Whew. That was an adrenaline dump. Whew. So, this is kind of wild, but it's still pretty early. It looked like a perfect heart shot. I mean, he just went flying into the brush, and I'm assuming he's not going to be real far past that. So, whew, that was exciting. It feels so good punching a tag. It's been a while for me. So, with the bow, I guess at least I've killed a couple nice bucks with the gun the last couple seasons, and getting a deer like that, one of my top hit listers this year. So, we're gonna kind of get things back together here, and we'll be catching up with you soon, probably out on the blood trail here, hopefully. All right, well, we just got out of the blind and got our flashlights and everything ready to go. One funny thing, we got looking at the footage afterwards, and Tyler and I were talking, and I'm like, I don't think that's actually squirt. I think we actually just shot the deer that I just been calling the Big 9, and it's kind of a funny backstory on him. Last year, I missed that deer with my muzzleloader, late December 8th, 9th, something like that. Zach Rosmus was with me, and anyway, he hasn't really been around a ton this year, but just the last week or so I've been getting pictures of him, and I'm sure it's him again, but we'll go check it out. So, I think it would have been somewhere in this area. Okay, there we go. Okay, I think he was still in the beans here because I'm not seeing any blood. Okay, yep. I can see his body right there. Right on the edge. Well, we just got this buck pulled out. Definitely is the 9-pointer that I whiffed on last year. So I guess maybe we'll just call him Whiff. I don't know if we ever really came up with a name, but again, November 4th, I think it was 4 or 5 years ago, actually, I shot a buck I called Jim right out of this spot. Same setup, so pretty cool, pretty neat story to come together, and just came in here tonight, and it seemed like the entire night, nonstop, they just kind of kept coming out of the woodwork, and it was pretty cool to hear him snort, wheeze, and mess around and have those does in front of us and everything, and get shifted around in the blind, and got some really long beams, some cool characteristics to him, and just tickled.
While Jeff's hunt ended with a short trail, back in eastern Iowa, no arrows were released on Mike's hunt. The following morning, 40 miles to the south of the river farm, Zach Rasmus is back on Area 52, looking to fill his first landowner tag ever.
All right, good morning, guys. November 5th. Ty and I are back at it, and we're in a familiar spot that we've talked about quite a bit. We're in that secluded plot on Area 52. This is our second sit back here, the first one in this designated stand. This is our second hunt since we had success and harvested chicken nugget back on the 30th. Where we're set up at, it could take a little while for deer to get back in here. This is deep into bedding, so if they're out in ag fields at night, this could be a good spot. It's a thermal morning, super calm. 2 bucks that we're after back here are that buck I call Whopper, and then Pretzel. Whopper's been MIA for a long time now, but this is where I expect to see him if we're gonna encounter him. So we're gonna hunker down. Squirrel. We're gonna hunker down and try to be quiet for a little bit. Beautiful morning.
While Zach enjoys the early deer movement, that same morning, 128 miles to the southwest, Kaleb Greiner is also on stand. Enjoying a picture-perfect morning, Kaleb shifted stands, venturing deeper into the bedding area, hoping to finally see his newest target.
It's November 5th, and the boys are on the move this morning. Looked like we saw a really good buck off in the distance after I rattled a little bit this morning, but just kind of lost interest and worked back off. We've got a camera that we initially came in here the first day. Shay and I came in, and we've gotten a lot of pictures from it. Haven't gotten the big one from it, but we have gotten a couple photos of it in the last couple days. Just looks like a big mainframe 8 or maybe a 9. A few kickers. It's a sweet buck. I don't know, it's nice and frosty this morning. It feels cold. When we last sat, I talked about how I wanted to get further to the east of this property in the main part of this draw. And I think So far today, we've kind of proven that I think it's just going to be a more high traffic spot than where we've been sitting. So gonna just sit this morning. Beautiful morning. I love November, man. Can't get any better than this. Well, that was an exciting November 5th morning. We got some work stuff to finish up this afternoon. But looking forward to getting back in here tomorrow and hopefully one of these big bucks show back up on camera.
Back in eastern Iowa, Zach's newly established green plot worked perfectly. All morning deer have funneled by, just not the right one. With the wind picking up, Zach calls the hunt and game plans for the days ahead. While everyone is wrapping up their morning hunts with the newly arrived heat, myself and Gavin Katurba are wrapping up a morning of work. With all of the recent successes enjoyed by the team, all hands have been on deck to produce our Midwest Whitetail weekly episodes. But now we have a break. Since the ag fields around the Big Bird property were picked, the drop tine buck I've been hunting has been a ghost. With a low deer population, presumably he's ventured where more does are, and my hopes now rely on him ranging through randomly. With this in mind, Gavin and I set out to a nearby piece of public land to scout for the incoming north winds scheduled to arrive in a few days. Well, November 5th, and man, it has been a long time since I have been out scouting or doing something quote-unquote for myself. I've been really lucky to spend a lot of time in the woods. Brian Brown and I hunted the last 8 or 9 days. Drake killed a deer yesterday, so today's Sunday. Gavin and I are trying to get a bunch of work done and just get caught up so that we can enjoy this good weather that's coming towards the middle of the week. And we were looking on Onyx, came across a piece of public ground here in Iowa. We're going to check it out. So the private pieces that I've had, I mean, the one where the drop tine and the big 9 were, haven't had photos of those deer in a long time. And don't get me wrong, I know if you don't have pictures of a deer, it doesn't mean they're not there. But I'm getting consistently in all the cameras the same deer. But it's hard to justify driving an hour, 30 hour, 45 minutes for that. So we're back to the drawing board here. And this spot looks awesome. It looks hard to access. It's November and a Sunday, so we should get an idea of how much hunting pressure actually is here. But we are going to just give it a quick little scout and then potentially hunt it this week sometime. So it's Iowa, it's the rut, you never know. Hopefully it puts us back in the game. We shall see.
I just got in here across the river, and what I wanted to see is if the sign changed, and boy did it. Big scrape. Big rubs. I mean, it is a jungle right here. And all that standing food, pig food, is to the north of here, so I assume these deer are coming back to bed. And I feel like I'm around a lot of deer right now. hate to be doing this, but we have time to do it. We're scouting for this north wind coming. What the heck, dude? This is insane. All right, well, we are 3.3 miles into this walk, and we just came across what we have really liked the most so far. It's actually pretty impressive how many stands and cameras we came across. But we were able to find our way across this little river, and the deer sign is ticked way up, human sign's gone way down, so it's just bedding everywhere. We're just walking trails, scrape after scrape after scrape. With those north winds coming, we think this would be a great spot to call. The other thing is, like, we can't see much, but like Gavin said, we get in the air, we'll be able to see all of this stuff. So right now, the river's probably 50, 60 yards behind me. We'll be able to pop up, get right here. There's deer in here. Not sure what's in here, but there's definitely bucks. The amount of rubs and scrapes and stuff we've seen is pretty incredible. I don't know if there's a private land piece I've ever been on that's had this much sign. I've also never walked around this much bedding, but we will keep chugging along and see what we end up getting into.
As Gavin and I wrap up our day of speed scouting, back in eastern Iowa, Mike Reed is making another sit on the river farm.
That's pretty darn cool, man.
Dude, that's unbelievable. It's so neat to be able to see that. Just taking a bath.
Following the unique encounter with the eagle, Mike gets down and heads towards a stand he thinks gives him his best chance at the buck he is hunting.
We're all set up for the afternoon. We're back in this little pin oak on this farm lane that comes out of the central timber. Got the green plot, got all the acorns, just, again, tons of deer right here. I think a lot of the deer that bed back in this section of the farm end up somewhere in the vicinity of this, so I feel like it's one of our better places to catch up with him in the afternoon. It is about 62 degrees, so it's pretty warm. We have a southeast wind, which just blows it right back up the slough here. It's a good setup. We've had some great hunts right here and had deer under us, all evening, both times. We're gonna try it one more time. Hopefully he shows up. That deer won't leave us alone.
As the deer begin to move from Mike, 155 miles to the south, Justin Luebrecht is back in the saddle. Coming off of a great November 2nd hunt that saw him encounter multiple bucks, Justin's heading back to a bottom field where Velveeta has been extremely active.
Well, guys, it's the evening of November the 5th, and I've decided to come to the bottoms here. I haven't hunted this of an evening in several years. Actually, this is the first year we've hunted it at all in several years. We've been hunting in the AM. Tyler had a good encounter with a buck that we didn't even know was still alive. We had no encounters with him last year, and he had an encounter with him down here the other morning. So it's definitely a good spot. Historically, it's always been really good. It's just, you know, when I used to hunt it, the wind swirled so bad down here, and I was able to get a redneck down here this year. So that's why I'm down here tonight. We've got a southeast wind, which is, you know, anyone that knows that when you hunt bottoms, it'll barrel roll. So you actually want the opposite wind for it to work. So that's what we got tonight. Should be pushing our wind right back up the valley. If not, we're in the redneck, and I've got it concealed. So it's warming up quite a bit. Anything could happen down here. You know, historically, Velveeta's been down here and big frame. We're gonna get settled in here, and hopefully tonight's the night. That's a nice buck right there. Down there bumping them does. Because he's got them two little nubs. Well, guys, that's about gonna wrap it up for me here. It was a pretty good evening here. Seen that one, what I'm thinking is a 4-year-old 10-pointer come right down the pipe just like we want him to do. Then we had that 3-year-old buck we called Nubbins come in, and I just had an encounter with him the other morning, and he was perfectly fine then, and now he's limping pretty good. As I noticed he was going up the hill. I didn't really notice it as he was walking straight at me, but we're gonna keep after it here. This is the final week here before Missouri's rifle season starts next weekend, so it's the time to get it done with a bow before it really starts to get hard. So we'll be back at it somewhere. Just all depends on the wind.
Back on stand with Mike, the deer movement continues.
Yes, that's baby 8.
Look out.
Now that was a fun sit. I mean, for 62 degrees and 15-mile-an-hour plus winds, I wasn't sure what kind of activity we'd see. And it started not long after we sat down, and it never stopped. Same sort of thing early, a lot of does and fawns kind of coming out to eat, but this time some of the little bucks were really feeling it, kind of pushing the does around, causing a commotion. There was some grunting, snort wheeze, that kind of stuff. Anyway, I'm not going to be hunting tomorrow. I have to work tomorrow, but I'm off on the 7th, and so I'll see you guys then.
Definitely is the 9-pointer that I whiffed on last year, so I guess maybe we'll just call him Whiff. It seemed like the entire night, nonstop, they just kind of kept coming out of the woodwork and just tickled.
It started not long after we sat down, and it never stopped. Some of the little bucks were really feeling it, kind of pushing the does around, causing a commotion. There was some grunting. I have to work tomorrow, but I'm off on the 7th, and so I'll see you guys then.
All right, well, we are 3.3 miles into this walk, and we just came across what we have really liked the most so far. There's deer in here. Not sure what's in here, but there's definitely bucks. Where we find ourselves right now is one of the single most exciting time frames of the season, where anything can happen at a moment's notice. Just ask Jeff Deets, who saw his season morph from close call after close call into long-awaited redemption on the Illinois Bruiser. And while Kaleb Greiner hasn't released an arrow just yet, the newfound giant on his permission property is in his sights, propelling his next move. Evident by the multiple sightings of Fitzmagic, Mike Reed's plan holds steadfast. Hunt the right winds, and place himself in stands with high traffic doe activity in hopes of striking gold. For the rest of us, our plans are somewhere in between as we continue to navigate the upcoming days. What stand do you choose, and how do you get one step ahead? All year we've dreamed of this job, and now we're finally punching a time clock that brings a smile to our faces. Willingly, we log the overtime, enjoying each and every minute as we continue chasing November.